Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and the Portugal Club, of course, where we have here on the Good Morning Portugal show and at the Portugal Club the fun, the facts, and the hacks of our lovely lives here in Portugal. Stormy night, though, wasn't it, last night? How's everybody doing this morning? I'm going straight to your comments to see how you're doing. Then we'll have a look at who's joining us on the show today. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers from T-Duck. What a storm! I think you've given it a rating here, 4 stars, plus a duck and a thunderstorm. Amazing. Yeah, bon dia, amazing storm, isn't it? Not wasn't it? Certainly one way to get everyone up early. Nothing to do with me. Kaishi Gatosh this morning for sure. Absolutely peeing it down. The shed door, banging like a shed door this morning. Hola, bon dia, Malta. Should have some high viewing numbers this morning, giving the inclement weather. Now, which song has that lyric, inclement weather? I was listening to a tune and it used the word inclement. I can't remember which one it is now. Hello from Milan. JP, Porto JP is in Milan at the moment. What are you doing over there? You're at the fashion, part of the fashion business. And we have a fashionista joining us this morning, actually, from Porto. Actually. While you're over there, your fellow fashionista, if that's indeed what you are, JP, Eduardo is joining us this morning with Lonnie McLaughlin at around 8:30 this morning, talking about their new art exhibition in Porto. Bon dia, Gumpers from Mike as well. So, yeah, pictures would be great this morning. If you have some of big puddles. I had a bit of a WhatsApp glitch, it would appear, on the screen this morning. So I need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery this morning and make sure we've got WhatsApp. You know when you have to do the thing where you have to scan a code? Because I don't know, for some reason, I had a terrifying moment last night, late last night. I wanted to send something via WhatsApp, a link via WhatsApp, and then it started creating WhatsApp business on my phone, which I've already got, and I'm thinking, oh no, am I going to lose everything? But anyway, it seems to be okay now. That was fairly easily done. I can see you now on 913-590-303. Oh, where and what to plant in Portugal in November. Let's have a look at that, because that's good for our Portuguese vocabulary as well. Thank you for that this morning. A video as well, I think. Yes, 15 seconds of storm. A few captures of the storm over us this morning. Hope the Gumpers are watertight. We'll be tuning in, but signal in and out today. Nina and Henry, my goodness. Wow, okay. I will share that with you as well. Gary Coulton, we'll be doing the Positive Echo this evening at 6. Quite a bad night's sleep. One of my guests, I think, blowing out. No worries there, Nick. Nick, I was hoping would join us later on, but I can still play his video. News late last night. Okay. I got your message there, T-Duck. David Byrne. Coming to Cascais. We'll have lots to talk about with Rich tomorrow. Richard from Blues Communities Unite, and now the Prohibition Bar in Obidos, of course. Looking forward to talking with Rich tomorrow. The first official version of the Portugal Playlist podcast and show, talking about live music all over Portugal and supporting the live music scene. So maybe Nick can join us for that tomorrow, although it'll be quite crowded because we've got Christopher Maloney. Yes, Christopher Maloney is joining us tomorrow as well, playing. I'm sure we'll be playing some of his music, and he'll be talking about his music based in Coimbra. Those fantastic videos that he makes. He's releasing a track at a time with a video based in and around Coimbra. It is really peeing down here still. So send more of your pics and vids, if you will, to 913-590-303. Great lightning storm in the mountains last night. It was really, really noisy and flashy here. I couldn't quite wake myself up to go and sit and look out the window. But I was just lying in bed in a half sleep, half awake, half conscious state, expecting the most almighty crash, clap of thunder. After quite a lot of lightning and certainly a lot of rain sound overnight. Let's have a look at the video from Henry and Nina now. Then let me just load that up onto the picture deck. Yeah, if you've got one, 913-590-303 if you will. Guest later on then. It looks like Nick won't be able to join us. I think he is touring in a camper van, so he absolutely will not have had the best night's sleep last night. Shout out and lots of love to anyone who's sleeping under a few millimeters of tin basically at the moment, or canvas. I got a message from a guy who's sleeping in a tent in London. He's putting everything into his ruin in Portugal, he says. This is a comment on our YouTube channel. He's living in a tent in London, working, I think, and living in a tent in the smoke, and putting everything he's got into his... sorry, I've got to get rid of this fly here. Tiny little fruit fly in the studio. Must have been driven in by the... Can you imagine being a fly in this weather? You have to take cover, right? One of those raindrops is bigger than you are at the moment out there. Yeah, this guy is living in London. I don't know whereabouts in London, and putting everything he's got into his ruin in Portugal whilst working and saving up and living in a tent. I imagine that does save you quite a lot of money living in a tent in London compared to the rents of £1,000 a day or whatever it is in London at the moment. Paul McCartney. Yes. The willow turns its back on inclement weather, and if he can do it, then we can do it. Just me and you with a little luck. That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I need a bucket to hold that tune. Paul McCartney and Wings. Yes, absolutely right. I love that song, and I feel like I've rediscovered it in this last week. Thanks for being so quick off the mark on finding that there. Was that do you think that was a dare Paul McCartney said to the band? Hey, all right, somebody said inclement to me the other day, so let's include it in one of the tracks. I'm sure it didn't go anything like that, but maybe it did. I'm sure musicians do dare themselves to include a particular word or phrase in a song. Where was I? Where were we? We were looking at the storm in central Portugal. Yeah, no. That is that AI? That, if you're making a Hollywood movie or a Scooby-Doo cartoon, that is the sound effect you need. We've got to hear that again. That's extraordinary. Biblical. That is amazing, absolutely incredible, and that's going on, I think, still in central Portugal. We are under. I'm seeing aviso de chuva. So let me just see if I can find any more about the weather warning that's occurring for Portugal. I mean, it's a bit late for that, isn't it? We are getting inclement, to say the very least, this morning. Inclement weather, orange weather warning. There's quite a lot going on this screen here. Yes. MSN's weather. It's a little bit too complicated. Maybe we'll go and have a look at IPMA a little bit later on. But I mean, I don't think you need to be told it's raining at the moment, right? Mel spent half the night cuddling frightened dogs from the thunder. Oh, and just got back from the dog walk drenched. Right. You make sure you get warm and dry there, Mel. And bon dia, we're soaked over here, Jackie. How are you doing? And yes, Lee, it's crazy out today. Clearly a lot, but you said Queen and Convict earlier on. This is a good day for a show where everyone's shut indoors at the moment. Quite extraordinary. Well, we've got Nick's lovely video of olive picking, which will remind us of sunnier times. Oh, okay. Silenced video call. Do you want me to ring you back, Mike? Have you got that live for us? Live coverage? Let me see. What I'll do is I'll ring you back now. I'm not sure I can broadcast your actual video. That's the thing. Maybe I can. Give me an affirmative on the message there, and I'll call you back. And we'll see if we can bring that what sounds like it might be a live weather report I do silence my phone during the show for obvious reasons, but then I miss out on calls that come through on 913-590-303. Let me know if that's going to work for you in the chat, maybe there, I can, and we'll sort that out. Incredible. Okay, yes, send more pictures and videos. 913-590-303 with the weather at the moment. And if you've got a good weather source telling us how long this is going to last, do let us know about that. Let's go and have a look at the Portuguese citizenship test question now, given that we're all about the fun facts and hacks here in Portugal, on the Good Morning Portugal show and at the Portugal Club, where we're going to go now. To question 47. This is a great question today, even if I say so myself. Although I shouldn't be taking the credit for these questions. These were AI generated, quite frankly, quite honestly, and I should be disclosing that, as everyone seems to be urged to do at the moment, if there's anything AI involved. Certainly if you upload a video or a podcast now, you're asked if it's got the AI, as well as all the other things. Is it safe? Is it legal? Are you paid to do it? Is it AI? Bom dia, alegria a todos e feliz quarta-feira. Hoje temos uma tempestade com relâmpagos muito bonitos e chuva forte. So strong rains for Mati there. E bom para as plantas. Yeah, good for the weather. Good for the plants and good for the ducks as well. Eu não preciso regar from Mati there. Lisbon will be clear of rain 10:30, but the wind will continue. Okay, thanks for that update there, Lee, for the capital. Let's go then to the Portuguese citizenship test question this morning. And I think, actually, the answer could be any of these this morning. What is the traditional pilgrimage site in Portugal visited by millions annually? That might, although it is mostly true of option C, Belém. Do millions go on the Pastéis de Nata pilgrimage? I don't know is that shop capable of welcoming millions of people? There's certainly millions have been there. I don't know if that's annually. The Santiago de Compostela, millions annually. I don't know. Or Fatima. What is the traditional pilgrimage site in Portugal visited by millions annually? Which is it? And I will give you the link for that. Is it A, Fatima? Is it B, Santiago de Compostela? Or is it C, Belém? Santiago de Compostela, I always think of Leon gardeners and the Santiago having something to do with compost. Compostela is not, I don't think Compostela is Portuguese for compost. I think Lee will tell us what that is. So that's going into the chat now, and you can guess for yourself. Yeah, Mel giving us a little bit of a clue there. Fatima definitely has millions coming in, and there's the link for that this morning. Right, and Arts, John Wood, good morning to you. Nice to see you here, John, shopping around for the Portugal resident in Leiria, where he is our featured spotlight in my column in the Portugal resident this week. Morning to you, John. How's it going? I guess you won't be out working outdoors this morning. I have seen a few of Matty's conquests floating along the road. Well, one's in Spain. So is no part of the Santiago de Compostela in Portugal? I thought some of it was here. I guess we call it the Caminha here, don't we, rather than the Santiago de Compostela. Thank you for that, Andy. So not a single part of it here in Portugal. I need a clarification on that, if you will. Right, and the link is there if you want to make your own guess. Congratulations to Bobby O'Reilly. We have a distinct arts theme, although our musician of the morning, I think, has had a very bad night's sleep, and understandably so, out in the camper van in which he's making his way around Portugal at the moment. And whilst doing so, is sending some wonderful footage, actually tracks from his latest album set to beautiful scenes here in Portugal. And we were hoping to have him on the show today, but I think that's going to be a little bit difficult. But certainly Nick is traveling around Portugal making these lovely, well, he's already made the lovely music. He's accompanying his music with lovely visuals. And we will feature one of them today. Okay, so we'll do that today. But sadly, I think he's unable to join himself. He's joined us himself. On the matter of arts, I see this morning that the Movimento Arte Contemporanea, the MAC, has honoured a certain Mr. Robert O'Reilly. Deeply honoured to inform you that in recognition of your remarkable career marked by generosity, commitment to the community, and your continued effort to promote every area of social and cultural development in your adopted country, it has been decided to award you the MAC Trophy of 2025 for cultural merit. So let's have a look at that, and we'll put that that gong, that award, onto the screen that Bobby O'Reilly has just scooped. And I think it may have been an awards ceremony with this. I got a wind of this on Facebook. Your actions, it continues on this message, have been a true example of cultural citizenship, sharing and active engagement, transforming ideas into projects that bring people together, strengthen bonds, and enhance the value of the arts. With this distinction, MAC pays tribute to a man who sees culture and solidarity as the path toward a more just, creative, and more humane society. Isn't that lovely? It is with great pleasure that we invite you to attend the ceremony. So that's wonderful. Congratulations to you, Bobby. Oh, he hasn't been awarded this yet, but he will be tomorrow, I believe. The MAC Trophy, that would be the Movimento Arte Contemporanea, MAC for short. And Bobby's won the MAC Trophy 2025 for cultural merit. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Mr. O'Reilly. Superb. So yes, a distinctly arts flavour this morning. And we will be talking to Lonnie McLaughlin and Eduardo Fischer-Torres a little bit later on in the show. They've got an exhibition coming up, Echoes in Time, a collaboration of friends. That's artist Lonnie McLaughlin. You'll have seen Lonnie on the show before now. His friend Eduardo Fischer-Torres merged painting and fashion into a single expressive language. This exhibition features paintings, monotypes, limited edition fine art prints, and a limited edition menswear collection that bridges canvas and cloth. Who doesn't like to bridge canvas and cloth first thing in the morning? We will be doing that in about 15 minutes. And that will be opening on November the 15th at the Galeria Catapulta, which is in Porto, on Rua de Miguel Bombarda, number 285. So we'll talk to those artists, the fashionista Eduardo and artist Lonnie McLaughlin, what it takes to share your art, to create your art. And is Portugal an especially inspiring place in which to create art? What has inspired them? And what it takes to get an exhibition going. We talked to Anne McGarry, didn't we? She had a lovely exhibition. Saw Anne and Joe at the wine tasting and karaoke last Saturday night. Lovely to see you both. And Anne did that, put on an exhibition of her paintings and was welcomed heartily by her local community. Let's find out how it worked for Lonnie and Eduardo a little bit later on as well. Yes, not the best time for planting seeds, perhaps. I'll bow to your superior knowledge on that, Lee. But around about now, I would have thought, and these are the things that you can plant in November. Horta in the in the garden here, or these are the plants rather than the what are these other things? Jardin, so field, garden, and allotment, I suppose, would be the distinctions here. And I'm actually obscuring part of it. Let me just take the ticker tape off for a moment. Okay, so in the fields, oats and wheat. I'm not. So I've got oats and wheat there, but I'm not sure what some of the other words are. Here's a chance for you to test your vocabulary this morning. But certainly in the allotment, lettuce, beetroot, onions, cilantro. Sorry to anyone with an aversion there. The cabbages, the herbs, the spinach, beans, grelhos. I've forgotten what grelhos are. Radishes. And we've got parsley and tomate. Get your tomate out for the lads. And in the garden, the amores perfeitos. What are perfect loves? Oh, these are the flowers, are they not? The begonias, the carnations, cravinhas and cravos. What's the difference there? The margaritas, of course, marigolds, and the proteias. I'm not sure what they are. Ervas dos gatos, the cat herbs. The catnip is that. So any other translations will help, as you can see how I'm struggling a little bit there. But how thoughtful of you, Andero, to include that for us this morning. There you go. I'll leave that on the on the screen for the moment so you can see. Okay, so Santiago de Compostela is the town. It's not the name of the walk. So I think we can rule that out from our investigation and our quiz this morning. Morning to you, Coach. There are several different Camino routes in Portugal. You see the shell signs all over the place. You do. And people must take wrong turnings and find themselves doing extra kilometers. You will see, if you're a member of our Grapevine WhatsApp group here in San Martino de Porto, that Bobby, different Bobby, has been, American Bobby, has been walking the Camino here in Portugal and has been sending fabulous photographs of his journey. Has had a wonderful time. Well, San Martino de Porto, folks, this is my last Camino correspondence. Started October the 25th in Porto and finished November the 2nd. Portugal, Spain, and everyone from Albuquerque, Pilgrim Hostel, hosts, fellow hikers, pilgrims, shop owners, and random strangers. It was the nicest, kindest demographic I've experienced maybe since being a kid in Disneyland. What a brilliant comparison. I paced myself poorly, going too fast, too far daily, but did connect with good people. A great guy from France who was happy to try English walking from France to Kenya. I wonder what that means, with a happy outlook despite devastating personal loss. Wow. A German lady who lost her government job hiking to Morocco. I imagine she lost her job before she went hiking to Morocco, and that was the reason for going. Met really nice Portuguese, Spanish, Norwegian, Italians, for the most part, just a few fellow Americans. All good. And some lovely photographs from the journey there. Actually, I can bring these onto the screen before we talk in about 10 minutes to Lonnie and Eduardo. Let me bring onto the screen the selection of photographs from Bobby, who's been making his way along the Camino here in Portugal. Give me a moment to do that. Share the screen, the window, the entire screen. No, maybe I can't do that. I'm looking for the right tab to do so, but can't see anything at the moment. I'll have to do that another time. Or maybe we'll make a special video with Bobby. But good work there, Bobby. In your Camino, your first Camino here in Portugal. Having a great time here in Portugal by the sound of it, and a bit of a life-changing experience. Okay, I'll stop hiding behind the all those herbs and flowers now. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here on the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course the Portugal Club. And where was I going to go? Oh yes, to your comments this morning. How's everyone doing? Do send in the images and video of rain. I've got to play that to thunderstorm video again in just a moment. That's extraordinary. There's several different Camino routes. You do see the little shell signs, which are the way markers. Sharing a Guinness, I suppose. Different Bobby. Different Bobby there. To the coach, enough. Funnily enough, it is also a Tesla pilgrimage center as well. A very fine restaurant at the Superchargers. Which one's that, though? I wonder. Which Camino pilgrimage? Oh, I see. You're talking about Fatima, I think. So Fatima is a Tesla pilgrimage center. So yes, there are worshippers of that kind, of course. The weather is due to clear up. And actually, yes, it's almost like a religion, the way it divides people now, Tesla ownership. The weather is due to clear up. St. Michael's summer usually coincides with wonderful Galgan festival. Yeah, we're looking for a St. Michael or a San Martino summer this year. We've been on a couple of coach trips from the village, long weekend coach trips there to the Santiago de Compostela. You made us a video, of course, of that back in the day. So it's a Spanish destination, and I don't think any direct connection. So that helps us with the quiz this morning. What is the annual pilgrimage site visited by millions annually? Is it Fatima, or is it Santiago de Compostela, or is it Belém? Belém does make a little bit of sense, but whether or not they can fit millions into that Pastel de Nata cafe, I don't know. Not just a weather report, but an alternative energy report here from Matty, only generating 15 watts at the moment. Well, that's enough for a light bulb, isn't it? I'm expecting to hear my generator later today. So that kicks in automatically, does it, Matty, if you don't have enough to power up your solar? Max and Jamie had loads of calls last Friday and Saturday as people are starting up their generators. Yes, for the winter. Don't let it go so low your generator won't work. Okay, good to know as well. Those of you with Jennies, be wary of that. No worries, my generator is being tested for 30 minutes each month. We'll have to check the fuel in a rain break, might need a fill up. There you go. Yeah, all you off-gridders, maybe do a little bit of preemptive generator maintenance and make sure your systems are all good for the winter now. Right. Also, something that's come to my attention is the new IMA complaints line. Did you hear about that? I suspect with the IMA complaints channel, you have to have an appointment to go and complain. But it only takes anything between 6 months and 2 years to get that appointment so that you can go and make your complaint. Seriously, though, let's have a look at what's being said over at the Portugal News about this new IMA complaints channel, should you need it. I mean, why would you need to complain at IMA? I wonder. My mains electricity seems okay, says Peter there. And let's bring that ticker tape back onto the screen with details of how you can come and join us free. We welcomed Kate yesterday, who said, I thought your Portugal club you had to pay for. That's another thing I love about Portugal, all this free stuff, including the basic level of the Portugal club. Good for you, Pete, on that. Let's have a quick look at this IMA complaints channel then, or the story thereof. The Portuguese Bar Association has announced the creation on its website of a direct channel to receive complaints and contributions regarding the functioning of the agency for integration, minorities and asylum. Yeah, a lot of Portuguese lawyers presumably not very happy about how they have to interact with IMA. Although the direction of travel, to be fair, is towards improvement, but there's still obviously a lot of work to be done. In statements to Lusa, the president of the Bar Association in Portugal complained that the channel aims to improve communication between lawyers and the institution. Okay, so this is a complaints channel between the professionals and IMA in order to relieve some of the pressure and unease that exists between everyone. There are two public services that receive the highest number of complaints from lawyers. What do you think they are? One is IMA, which is the clear leader at the number one spot in complaints from everyone, followed by the IRN. So that's our registry office here in Portugal, the IRN. I had a great service with them. They were dealing with the post-Brexit stuff, weren't they? And I had a great service in Porto with them, even though I had to go all the way to Porto to do it. And the land registries as well, said João Massano. The Portuguese Bar Association will receive the complaints and forward them in bulk to IMA. They're employing some really strong people at the moment to carry those boxes of complaints, because of course they'll be on paper according to an agreement between the two institutions. Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? Those meetings will have been hilarious. So how do you intend to bring the complaints to us? Well, we'll write them all out and we'll bring them over. Maybe at the end of the month in triplicate. We'll now have this channel through the Bar Association for complaints and suggestions given by lawyers, explained João Massano, emphasizing that the creation of this resource through a form available in each lawyer's reserved area is not due to a worsening of problems or delays. The IMA problem has not worsened in particular, but this was the moment when it was possible to operationalize the channel. Oh, okay. So IMA have got better, and now was the moment to deluge them with a load of complaints then. Currently, legal proceedings related to IMA are overloading administrative courts due to the lack of response from the agency's services, something João Massano regrets. When a lawyer to get a response from a public service has no alternative but to resort to a court, it is clear that the public service is not working well. He stressed, reducing litigation. Therefore, the president hopes, that this online channel will end up reducing the reasons for litigation. Well, you can live in hope, can't you? This channel aims not only to identify specific situations of malfunction or disrespect for the rights or prerogatives of lawyers, but also to achieve a standardization of understandings among the various IMA services, he explained. Sounds like it's going to keep a lot of people in work as well. Imagine that there is an IMA service, for example, on the islands that accepts a document, and there is one on the mainland that does not accept the same document, he exemplified, adding, this actually happens, and it doesn't seem to make sense to me. According to a statement from the Bar Association, the two institutions wanted to, in quotes, create a permanent contact channel. Oh no, don't create permanent channels of complaint. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Let's call it a temporary thing until all of these problems are over, right? Create a permanent contact channel for sharing information about specific situations that may be reported by lawyers and that may represent constraints. Well, when you understand what the channel's for, you can use it. But at the moment, I'm not doing very well. Create a permanent contact channel for sharing information about specific situations that may be reported by lawyers and that may represent constraints on access, non-compliance with rights and prerogatives and or discrepancies in regional procedures adopted in relation to the interpretation of the law and validation of documents. Well, that's clear. The Bar Association considers institutional cooperation to be one of its objectives. In this case, for the significant improvement of public services, always starting from the collection of contributions from its members, guaranteeing effective access for citizens to these services, it also reads. Susan Boyle, remember her, picture of her there. So there you go. The new I'm a Complaints channel, you can't use it. You'll have to resort to different means with that. Maybe speak to your lawyer about that. It's 8:30. It's time to talk to our guests of this morning on this distinctly arts-flavoured Good Morning Portugal show. Let's give them a nice big round of applause. Lonnie McLaughlin and Eduardo Fischer-Torres. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Listen to that rapturous applause for you. How are you this morning?
Great. Good.
Excellent. How has the weather been? Lonnie, let me start with you, Lonnie. How was your weather in Porto overnight?
Flashing black skies. That's all I know. I didn't hear anything. I just know
you sleep well?
I heard there was a thunderstorm out there.
Well, in other parts of Portugal, it's been extraordinary. Check this out. This is what other people have been experiencing. This is Hollywood stuff, quite frankly, as though it were AI or generated by a student. Isn't that amazing? What about you, Eduardo? Did you experience anything like that in Porto last night?
I did. I actually slept through.
Excellent. You. How lovely. How lovely. Now, you're both here to tell us about your wonderful exhibition that's coming up in Porto, which I love the part of the copy here tells us how you're bridging the gap between canvas and cloth, which I think brings together your respective skill sets. Eduardo, you have a connection to fashion. Lonnie, you're an artist. I want to set the scene, though, and find out how you got to be in Portugal in the first place and how easy it is to connect with your creativity. So, Lonnie, if we can start with you. We've had you on the show from time to time. And it wasn't, we talked about other things other than art, but how long have you been an artist? And how has that been, the transition of becoming or releasing your creativity over here?
Well, I've been an artist most of my life. I started painting. I started painting when I was 13 or so. But my art has come and gone. I have periods where I'm really prolific, and then I don't do anything for a couple of years, and et cetera, et cetera. My intention of moving to Portugal was to study art and paint full time. So, I started painting when I got here, and this is the culmination of my practice and my first exhibition in Europe. And I'm excited about that. And I had a small studio show and invited 10 friends to come over and take a look at what I was doing. It's the first time shown it in Portugal. Eduardo was one of those people. Eduardo and I have been really great friends, he and his husband, since I moved here. And I got a lot of encouragement that I should have a show. And Eduardo was making really beautiful clothing. And he came to me later and said, this piece would make a beautiful fabric.
Wow.
How do you feel about me having fabrics made using your work? And that's how it started.
How wonderful. How wonderful. And have you found Porto to be especially inspiring for the work you're doing? And I'm endeavoring to bring it onto the screen. Here we go. Sorry to obscure you both for the moment, but this is your work here, Lonnie. Has this been directly inspired by being in Portugal?
Well, yes. Though all this series is were influenced by the walls of Porto. I found myself taking snapshots of peeling paint, aging walls, granite with lichen, and I had this massive collection of aging walls. And when I would go back to some of those areas, they were gone with the renovations happening, et cetera, et cetera. And so I began painting and recreating the mood of that, the vibe of that. before it's gone.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And then Eduardo, can you explain your connection to this? You come from a fashion background previously, do you? And then you saw these and thought these would make great fabrics.
Actually, I don't come from a fashion background.
Oh, right.
No, in fact, what happened was the beginning of last year, I decided I needed a hobby, something else to do to keep me busy. And so I bought myself a sewing machine and started making myself clothes. And here I am. I'm launching my brand this month. So it's gone crazy.
Hold on a minute. So, my assumption was, yeah, your long-standing interest in fashion, or even from the industry, but this is a hobby you've cultivated, picked up and run with,
Yeah,
since being in Portugal just recently.
just recently, the beginning of last year. I mean, I've always been into fashion. I've always felt like, I was worried about what I was going to wear, um, but never would have ever thought that I would be making clothes. So
That's amazing. That's
here I
amazing.
am.
What
Yeah.
sort? What did you start with then? How did this unfold?
So we had a bedspread that we bought here in Porto, and it just kept falling off the bed, just kept sliding off the bed. And I said, I'm so done with this thing, but I'm going to make something with it.
Right.
Wasn't sure what I was going to do. And so when I bought my sewing machine, I said, well, maybe I'll make myself a hoodie. And so I did. And then a friend of mine who was visiting, invited me to attend a sustainable fashion tour here in Porto. And I said, okay, I'll wear it. I mean, it's a hoodie that I made from a bedspread, and then I used the dog leash as a drawstring. And so, I was wearing it at this sustainable fashion tour, and I was getting compliments. And I said, well, maybe I have something going
You're
on here.
onto something. Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So, is there a thing then? Is there a scene in Porto to do with haberdashery, I suppose, and fashion design and so on? I mean, it's an industrial part of Portugal for sure. But is there a specific fashion uh, what's it called? What's that trade called? But are they making clothes up there? Is that a thing in Porto?
There is. I had initially, there are fashion designers here.
Right.
The northern part of Portugal has a huge uh, clothing manufacturing business companies. So it's pretty big up here.
Yeah.
I haven't really, delved into what exactly organizations are specifically in Porto as it relates to fashion. So, but I'll get there. I do have some other fashion designers here in Porto that are now following me on Instagram. So hopefully
That's
someday I'll meet
terrific.
them. Yeah,
So presumably you weren't expecting this to happen. This is just came
not at
from
all.
buying the sewing machine and getting going on that.
Yeah, not this. I would have if you would have asked me 5 years ago, what do you want to do in 5 years? This this probably wouldn't be it. But I'm
Well,
enjoying it.
yes, it looks like, and now an exhibition as well. That which is wonderful. Thanks, Eduardo. Lonnie. So how easy is it to find a place to exhibit? Because that's the obvious and natural thing to do. And I'm sure your friends were saying, you've got to show these, you've got to do an exhibition. For anyone thinking of doing that, who's moved to Portugal, picking up their hobby or their lifetime interest in something, maybe specifically with their art here. How easy is it to get a show going, and how hospitable, welcoming are locals in helping you to do that?
Well, one of the things that I really appreciate about Portugal, and it's I found it all over Portugal, is uh, the social aspect of living here. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody about anything you're interested in. And I was in a photography studio having some of my work photographed, and an artist came in and said, "Oh my God, I really love your work." We had a long conversation about my work, and he said, "I have a gallery. Would you be interested in showing your work?"
Brilliant.
And I said, "Oh, okay, I'm not quite there yet. I said, what do you, how many pieces are you thinking? He said, oh, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30. And I had been painting, so I had probably 40 pieces at the time.
Mm.
And so that's how it started. It was relationship based, and since that happened, a graphic designer walked in and offered to help, and everyone's just sort of jumping in and supporting this happening, and it's a big breakthrough for me to give up control, let people participate and contribute and bring their expertise to a gallery exhibition in Portugal, which I would never have known how to do. So
Amazing, which has led to this exhibition that's coming up. So it opens on the 15th of November. And so this is the gallery, is it, that where they said, will you come and do a show? Galleria Catapulta.
yeah,
Sounds like an interesting place.
yeah.
The collaboration of you both, friends, artist Lonnie McLaughlin and designer Eduardo Fischer Torres, merge painting and fashion into a single expressive language featuring paintings, monotypes, limited edition fine art prints, and a limited edition menswear collection that bridges canvas and cloth. Can we learn more about that then? How has the transition been made from canvas to cloth, Eduardo? What did you actually do?
So first of all, I had to get the digital prints from Lonnie for the two pieces of art that I was going to use. And I found a super sweet gentleman down in Lisbon who was willing to do a small batch of fabric for me and have it printed. And
Wow.
so yeah, I was sent him the digital art, and he put it on fabric. I have two different types of fabric, cotton, and then there's another cotton and linen blend. And then there's two prints. So it wasn't that. It was a little bit of a challenge trying to find someone up in the north, because most organizations that I was reaching out to wanted to do the full production.
Yes.
And I'm small batch and just very limited edition clothing. So the guy down in Lisbon was just perfect for me.
How lovely, how lovely. And then you took them back and made the things on your newfound sewing machine.
My
How,
little
how was that? How was buying a sewing machine in Portugal? Was that fairly straightforward?
Actually, that was pretty easy. What I was doing was going on YouTube and trying to find out what type of machine should I buy, and what caliber of machine do I need. And so there is a sewing machine not far from where I live, and so I went in there and said, I need this machine because this is what's being highly recommended. And so they said, we have it here. So it
Go
was
for it.
easy.
Amazing. Antonio F. here. Bom dia todos. Portuguese fashion designers Fatima Lopes, Ana Salazar,
Yeah.
Luís Buchinho, Nuno Gama, Maria Gambinha, and Kati Jaumara, etc., are the most famous. Who knew? Thank you for opening this door up for me this morning into. It's not something we've talked about much on the Good Morning Portugal show. Portugal also famous for its cobblers. Of course, the shoe industry, textiles was the word I was looking for. So textiles and fashion industry, obviously alive and well here, and you're making a contribution towards it. Want to chat a little bit, if we may, about Porto, because on Monday evening's Good Morning Portugal wine club, we had our friend Frank, who's newly moved to Porto. He was absolutely singing the praises of Porto. You're obviously big fans of the city. I'd like to hear a bit more about your love for the place. Lonnie, what was it? I can't remember now what it was that made you choose Porto, and what is it you love so much about being there, so that others around the world can hear a little bit of love for Porto?
Well, I considered moving to Europe during COVID, and I started watching. To be honest, I had disconnected from social media, news media, all of the chaos that was happening in our country that was going on around me, and I just needed to unplug from all of that. And I looked at Portugal, and I Googled. I can't remember exactly what the prompt was. Videos of Portugal without words, no commentary. And I found this. I found these videos. I do remember, I do know the guy's name. I just can't remember it. He was walking around during COVID with a phone just through the Porto streets.
Yeah.
And there was no music. There was nothing. It was just hours and hours of video. This man walking through the streets during COVID time, nobody out much. And I was really dumbstruck, awestruck by the architecture and the beauty of the city and the age of the city. I love history. And I decided that I was going to move to Porto on that basis. And it was like, okay, I'm coming for the beauty of Portugal. What a more beautiful place to come. And I committed to living here for a year. And if I didn't like it, I'd move elsewhere.
That didn't happen, right?
It didn't. Then 2 months later, 3 months later, I happened to pull up Good Morning Portugal, and you and I met.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
I was here quickly. I came very quickly, and I have had zero regret. I traveled all over Portugal, but I really love Porto specifically, and Porto municipality, the kindness of the people, the calmness of people's interacting.
Yeah.
I've had nothing but love and great respect and deep appreciation from people, and vice versa. I have wonderful Portuguese friends here.
Yeah, clearly. I'm lucky enough to meet a few of them. And your journey here, your life here has been the most amazing, really, isn't it? With falling in love and getting married here.
Well, that's a completely ridiculously embarrassing story. I came here with the intention of being a single artist in this chapter of my life, and had no interest in being in a relationship. And I met a gentleman, and he really is a gentleman. I met this gentleman in a coffee shop. Very nice, lovely, meeting, and here we are married. We got married in August.
That escalated quickly.
4 years after meeting this person, and changed my life, changed my mind, and I have an extraordinary relationship, and
How beautiful.
Portuguese man.
And an artist with an exhibition coming up soon. How lovely that there are all these wonderful things to celebrate.
Well, if I could, I want to go back. Eduardo is very humble. One of the things about his work is he's committed that all of his work is made in Portugal, Portugal's fabrics, Portuguese printed the fabric. It's handmade. Each piece he makes by hand in Portugal. If he needs any coaching or guidance, he talks to Portuguese seamstresses, and it's all about Portugal. He's using nothing from outside of Portugal. So I think that's worth talking about regarding his brand.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd love to hear more about. Thanks, Lonnie, for the time being. I'd love to hear more about your story, Eduardo. So, what made you choose? Before we talk about your special angle on fashion, there, what made you choose Porto?
Well, initially, it was supposed to be Lisbon. My husband and I came to Portugal in 2015 for the very first time. In fact, it was our honeymoon that brought us to Portugal, and we landed in Lisbon, and then immediately fell in love with the city. And within a couple of days, I said, I think I could live here, and he agreed. And so we started talking about retirement here, and we kept coming back and visiting Lisbon, and we started seeing more growth in Lisbon. And we said, well, maybe we need something a little bit more smaller town vibe. And so we came up to Porto and immediately fell in love. We've been here 5 years now.
Amazing. Those words are great, aren't they? We could live here. It's lovely how Portugal sneaks up on people like that, isn't it? Just popping over for a few days or a holiday. It's like you're sitting there and you're thinking, this is so conducive to the sort of life I'd like. I can live here. And me and Mrs. M have done that so many times in so many different places as well. We've got a name for it. That's lovely. So that's how you got to be in the country, and then obviously you've cultivated your hobby here of making things with this brilliant niche that Lonnie's talking about. So everything has to be sort of provenance appropriately and Portugal related. What made you do that? What was your inspiration for that?
I think it was just a commitment that I made, that if I was gonna launch this brand, there's so many Portuguese that have helped me.
Mm. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Is that quite moving for you as well? Oh, how lovely!
Yeah.
How lovely! Because I saw a wonderful brand here in Portugal called Isto, who
Mhm.
make sure they're all about the supply chain and transparency of pricing, and this is, I think, really modest stuff with Portugal as well. They don't make a massive big deal about it, but I get the sense that things like this are happening all over the country, including your contribution to that as well, Eduardo. And you've an offer here, more kindness. If Eduardo wants to learn to knit or use a peg loom or spinning wheel, I'm happy to share my knowledge. That's Jackie who's coming over to Central Portugal,
That's great.
sharing
That's
there.
great.
Ah,
I have done some knitting, but very limiting, scarves and
yes.
beanies, but I have done it.
Yeah, yeah. It's great sense this morning of our how we've been touched, affected by Portuguese people, Portuguese culture, and Portuguese love. And it might not take very much more for us all to be weeping here in,
Yeah.
in just a moment with that. Well done with your exhibition journey. Sounds incredible from Queen and Convict there. Well, so thank you both. Good luck with this. Starting on the 15th of November. If we can still speak at the moment, I wonder if I could have a couple of sort of parting shots from you both about encouragement to others. To immerse in a hobby, to pick a hobby, to connect with Portugal in that way. What would you say on that, Eduardo?
Um, just go with your gut and just do it. There's people that are willing to help and want to jump in and help you succeed. Um,
Yeah. Yes, as
just
as as Lonnie found there just by popping in to have some work photographed. Eduardo, all the best to you with this
Thank
exhibition.
you.
Thank you so much for being this morning. What about you, Lonnie? What's your words of advice for people thinking about Portugal, coming here, spending their life here, and connecting with a lifelong hobby, perhaps?
Well, what Mario said it best. Just go for it. There's only so much hanging out and wine drinking you can do. At some point, you're like, okay, how am I going to spend this cash?
Yes,
What am I going to do?
yes,
Well, this is
yeah,
a perfect place to explore what that might be.
yeah,
Ask around, find out what other people are doing. But the community here, particularly here in Porto, is extremely supportive and participatory. And
mm,
all you do is open your mouth and start talking to people, and you'll be guided. You'll find your way.
yes. Yes, yes, and that quiet Portuguese countenance will open its heart to you and be very supportive, as we've discovered this morning. Coach Turner saying, "Yeah, what wonderful and inspiring stories, gentlemen! All the best with it, and
Thank
let
you.
us know how it goes. And thank you for being here this morning. Much appreciated."
Great,
Thank
Carl.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. Thank you for being here. Bye for now. Right, there they go. Lonnie and Eduardo this morning on the Good Morning Portugal show. How? I'm not crying, you are. Stop it. Right. Okay. That's lovely. And also, yes, a bit of a further mention about footwear as well, the cobblers of Portugal. Also, this comment from Jackie: treated myself to an 1891 Singer with a trestle table. I think Eduardo's machine is a little bit more modern than that. You've got an 1891 Singer and trestle table and a 1904 Singer, both hand operated, of course. Amazing. A nice offer, Jackie, as well, for Eduardo there to learn to knit with you. And T Duck picking up on the fact that shoes are made here in Portugal. I have a pair of custom Portuguese shoes that I love. It was the only way I could get shoes here that fit me. Amazing. And we have a cobbler in the village. All this lovely, wonderful craft going on. We have a great cobbler in the village. These are old time crafts that are still alive in Portugal and modest, not making a big deal of it. This is how we roll here, that I have to get around to asking to make some lasts for me, so you can still get some individual lasts made in Portugal. How amazing. Well done, Pete. Such nice guests for a gloomy day. Absolutely. Well said, Tito. But we're not done yet. We've got a lovely video from Nick to play for you this morning. Sadly, he couldn't join us. He is traveling around the country in a camper van. Bad night's sleep, woken by passing storms quite a few times. Can you imagine being in a camper van with this weather? Really noisy in the van. Actually quite fun, but feel a bit rough today. Yes, exciting, but not conducive for sleep. So we'll postpone with Nick, and we'll just share his. It's just a minute. It's a short video, literally, as YouTube would describe it, and some of his music, and he'll be treating us to more of this, I'm so delighted to say. Well, I'll play you the video now. So we'll see more of these. This is his music, and these are images that he's picking up on his journey around Portugal. So looking forward to more of these. And as I say, tomorrow it is the Portugal playlist, where we're showcasing live music that's going on around Portugal and hoping to bring more attention and love for that scene in the company of Richard from the Prohibition Bar. So let's have a look at Nick's video.
In the same dream, is everybody in the same dream? Can you put your hand on your heart? Is everybody falling apart? Is everybody in the same dream? Is everybody in the same dream? Can you put your arms around me? Let me feel your love surround me. Is everybody in the same dream? Is everybody in the same dream? 'Cause I wanna know why we walk alone. Soon you will be me. Soon I will be you.
Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Nick, for that, your first contribution, and more to come. And these are the adventures that Nick has. Wandering minstrel with his guitar. He's a very gifted musician. Let me give you his Bandcamp link as well, so that if you want to find out more, you can. So he says to me, the olive harvest, this is what goes along, the copy that goes along with Nick's song there, or that particular one anyway. The olive harvest in Portugal happens in October, November. I see Hugh's busy at harvesting as well. We'll come to your comment, Hugh, as well in just a moment. This is an amazing thing to be around in the countryside. This is the sort of thing he chances upon as he's traveling around. In the countryside, it's very common for people to have olive trees and harvest them themselves. Often people will gather together to help each other harvest. It's a very ancient and communal tradition. Nets are placed beneath each tree and the branches are shaken, sometimes using special equipment. The fallen olives are then separated and collected by hand. It's a slow but happy process. Olive trees and groves can be very old and passed down through generations. If the olives are harvested green when they are young, they are considered virgin oil. If you get less oil from each olive, but it's more valuable. Older black olives are more juicy, but not considered virgin, apparently. Featuring an extract from the song Peace and Harmony from my new upcoming album, says Nick, soon to be released on Bandcamp. So I'm copying that link so that you can support Nick, the musician there. That's going into the chat now. As we conclude today's lovely stormy weather and lovely, peaceful and inspiring guests on the show this morning, nicholasbarrel.bandcamp.com for Nick there. Where was that comment from you, Hugh? Nice to see you sparing us a bit of time this morning. I know you've got a busy schedule with all your olive harvesting. I can't find it now, Hugh. What is that? But thank you for popping in this morning and being with us. No, I can't see it anyway. You might want to repost it for us. Good Morning Portugal, 29th of November, we have the second festival for honouring the olive trees and olives in our village. We'll send you some links on WhatsApp later. Thanks, mate, for that. Yeah, we must honour the olive trees, mustn't we? Didn't know that. It's the only machine I love using, and they are fab. Where is that place? So this is a nice little connection here. Jackie, did you know that Singer was founded in Kaiserslautern? As far as I know, which is relatively close to my birth town in Germany there. So a nice little connection in the Gumper community. It's in the Rheinland-Pfalz. Just search for Kaiserslautern on Google Maps or search for Singer origin story and find out more then. be amazing seeing your ancient machines sparking up and producing things over here when you get here to join us here, Jackie. Absolutely agree, Coach. Absolutely wonderful and inspiring stories. I'm looking for Hugh's comment here because there was something about the very technical stuff. Oh, here it is of the black green olive ratio. About 65% green then for Hugh. Cold extraction acidity level should be about 0.4 or 0.6. We'll have the test done at the local laboratory next week. Love his attention to detail there. And the beautiful olive oil and wine, of course, that is created over at Hugh's Place, which is up for sale as well. If you want to live that sort of life, what an absolute gem of a place, a backdrop, a context that Hugh and Jane have created. And happy birthday wishes to you, Jane, for yesterday. Parabéns, je vous say. Heavy thunderstorm right now here in Logo de Deus, Eirish, Coimbra. So in the foothills of Coimbra, Adrian experiencing a bit of a thunderstorm there. Incredible bit of video from Queen and Convict this morning. Thank you all for being here. Pedder here now. He knows a thing or two about rain and storms over there in Wales, but we've got it here at the moment for the rest of the day, it would appear, in certain parts of Portugal. So be careful out there, and we'll see you tomorrow for that live music-loving podcast tomorrow with Rich. Have a wonderful day, and thanks again to Eduardo and Lonnie. All the best to you. Take care, and bye for now. Adios. Ciao.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show.